Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you part 2 of a replay between Slush and Silver here on the Xel'Naga Caverns as these Marines now moving out, taking this down. However, the Roaches are on the backside. Siege tanks quickly sieging up and destroying all of these Roaches, just getting just blasted away by those Crucio shock cannons. And even with the patch, those Roaches, which are armored units, will take significant damage. Army-wise, 4275 versus 4275. Both sides have enough of an army to simply destroy each other if they are caught out of position. However, these sensor towers are going to be one of the critical units and key strategies here, as Silver now able to just transfer more and more Marines and armies, Marines, Marauders, and siege tanks into this fight. We do have one Roach on this low ground, as these Marauders trying to, or these Roaches trying to figure out what exactly they can do. One Viking now getting shot out of the, shooting an Overlord out of the sky, able to do that. Those Roaches now trying to move in, how for some reason not moving while burrowed, and that was simply, oh, beautiful, beautiful. Hold on, let me rewind that. Okay, so this is going to be a two-pronged attack here, as these Roaches are going to be coming in. Viking now coming in over here, able to get a quick attack. However, those Infestors now coming into play, able to get off a couple very critical neural parasites. Those Roaches, however, taking the brunt of that damage, and now these Hydralisks finishing off this attack here. Now need to start taking down these siege tanks, otherwise they're going to turn on themselves once again, and down they go. However, the Hydralisks finishing them off, and now those Marines going to be able to come back. Are we going to get any sort of fungal growth on top of those units? That has to be absolutely critical. There are a decent amount of spine crawlers here, and that spine crawler quickly taking down one of those Marines. Another Marine now going to get taken down. However, the second spine crawler not in a decent position, as these Marines are now going to be able to get behind this mineral line. However, the Roaches will be able to start splashing and getting some damage in there as well. There is one bunker nearly completed, as those Roaches starting to deal some damage towards those Marines as it gets shot down. Are we going to get a fungal growth? Oh, a fungal growth on top of those medevacs. And that is a lot of resources lost by Silver once again. So you see that number now down to 2,400, losing essentially almost two fully loaded medevacs. Each of those worth about 500 minerals and at least 100 gas. Now, Infestors, in just doing the all-star of this game so far, one siege tank on this low ground, and now we have one Viking just trying to get more and more kills. An Overlord will get shot down. Both of these will get shot down in just a moment. There goes one, and the other one will get taken out, as there is an army fighting over here. Roaches and Hydralisks continuing to push back and forth. One bunker, however, a fungal growth cast. Siege tank now barely out of that position there, as another siege tank over here. We do have an infested swarm egg now being spawned within that 0 distance. However, in comes that siege tank. Now more Roaches now coming in and destroying this whole entire army here. Siege tank now trying to blast away. Does have that level 1 weapons upgrade, and now pulling back. For some reason, Slush is not getting Burrow. Okay, finally getting Burrow now. I do not see any of the we do have level 2 and level 1 weapons upgrades, 2-1 armor upgrades as well, sorry. And now Slush just trying to pull back. We are now getting the level 2 infantry upgrades and level 3 weapons upgrade, trying to regroup myself. Corruptors now being trained as well, as we now are at Hive Tech with the Greater Spire. However, there is a couple Vikings out throughout the map, so really Slush has to be careful with those Broodlords, cannot leave them unattended. It's really heartbreaking whenever I see a Zerg player get 5 or 7 Broodlords and not have any Corruptors or Mutalisks or any Hydralisks to try to act as a support. We do see now a command center being lifted off and trying to be built into this position, so Silver may just be able to simply walk over and take down a lot of this. In come these Marauders trying to take down these Spine Crawlers. Spine Crawlers now doing their best and now continuing the stim. Roaches now moving over as well, and all of these Marauders are going to be in a little bit of trouble, as that stim will be ending in just a moment. However, the Roaches unable to catch up. We do see one Overlord trying to generate creep, but will not be able to help all that much. And now, as this command center reaches this position and upgrades to a planetary fortress, it will be very difficult for Slush to really do anything about it, just because the planetary fortress is so strong in terms of an army. Back over here, as soon as this command center lands, and Slush should try to throw everything he has in order to stop it. We do have the Burrow now being researched. Level 3 missile upgrade attacks for these Hydralisks and these Roaches. Back over here, out moves some 2 Overlords. Overlords will quickly spot this command center now morphing 50 units of time, 40 units of time to complete. Missile turrets now coming into position, and now siege tanks. There's going to be an all-out battle at this command center. He cannot let this go up. Fungal growth not hitting too many units, not burrowing that. One Broodlord now joining in on that fight, and down goes that command center. Siege tanks continuing to blast away. Point defense drone intercepting the attack of those Hydralisks, and the fight just continues back and forth army-wise. 2100 versus 3800. However, a well-timed neuroparasite to start blasting away at these siege tanks. Hydralisk should now try to take down this own siege tank here in order to minimize that damage. There it goes. Now a couple Broodlords in the air. Will the Broodlords be able to deal enough damage? Another fungal growth needs to go off. No fungal growth, and now this Broodlord gets finds itself on the wrong end of a Gauss rifle. Marines upgraded 2-1. Back over here, we do see a couple of these Broodlords. Broodlords only have 1 armor, so those Marines were able to cut through that armor fairly quickly, dealing 7 damage per attack. Silver needs to figure out what expansion he's going to be taking in just a moment. However, there is a roach burrowed underneath this, so this command center or this orbital command will not be able to land. So that orbital command was lifted off from this location, as there is only 1 refinery here producing a minimal amount of gas, and now Silver smartly trying to build up 2 more starports in order to deal with an larger army of Broodlords. Marines now trying to play it safe, as those Hydralisks going to be able to quickly shoot down and take down that group of Marines. Those Marines probably did not know about this Overlord in the air over here, as these drones now able to mine back once again. Harvester wise, Slush in a very dominant position, 70 harvesters compared to 38, as Silver now in a very desperate situation, trying to come back into this game. He does have the larger army, 5200, but the longer the game goes, the better of a position that Slush is going to be until this starts to get mined out. We do have 2 orbital commands in order to call down mules and being able to mine out these 2 particular locations. Harvester wise, yes, 70 harvesters versus 38. However, Slush needs to take this expansion very critically, otherwise he will not be able to deal all that much. Broodlords now making their way over. However, unit combination, we do see 5 Vikings in the air. Are these Broodlords going to be able to deal any damage? Perhaps try to take down these siege tanks first. In come these infestors, and these infestors on the high ground gonna just cast a lot of fungal growth. Perhaps even try to neuroparasite this unit here. Is this infestor going to come in? No, if he comes into this low ground, he's going to get blasted apart by siege tanks. What a mistake there. All of these units are very low on hit points, as that infestor going to go ahead and spawn an infested Terran instead. Roaches are now going to move into here and now start firing away and take down all of these SCVs. Hydralisks now making their way over. However, the Hydralisks need to get back next to those Vikings and try to deal with those Vikings now. Hydralisk is going to be able to shoot down all of those Vikings, and that's really bad position. Marines and Marauders now pushing through as well. And this infestor does not have enough energy. These units are starting to get choked up here as these Hydralisks and Broodlords trying to fight their way through. Hydralisks are upgraded 3-1. Marines upgraded 3-1 as well. Both sides trying to kill each other first, as these Broodlords and Broodlings now being sent out. Those Broodlings, I do not believe, have the claw upgrade. No, only the level 1 armor upgrades, as they share it with those Hydralisks. So those Broodlings are not going to be able to deal as much damage. However, those siege tanks, now Broodlings moving out. Another Viking going to be able to pick off one of those Broodlords, very low on hit points. Hydralisks need to rejoin this, as this Viking may become the all-star of this game. As if this Viking can take down these 5 Broodlords, Slush's army will be significantly smaller. We do have a hatchery now being placed down over here as this planetary fortress over here. However, those Broodlords now clearing out this expansion, taking down a lot of these siege tanks. Siege tanks now taking a lot of damage as well. Siege tanks trying to pull back, as now we have some long distance mining from these drones over here. This hatchery has been taken down by Silver. So Silver constantly attacking back and forth and now able to finish off that last Broodlord, trying to watch the mini-map more, but getting very difficult. Taking a look at the harvester count, we have 140 mineral harvester versus 1400, so Slush mining at 10 times a higher rate. However, these 2 spine crawlers will not be able to protect this expansion, and this is going to be a serious blow towards Slush. Slush not exactly sure what he's going to be able to do about this, as these siege tanks now in position. However, we now see another group of Broodlords currently in production, 9 Broodlords, as these roaches now moving out, for some reason not burrowing and moving, attacking. Hydralisk now, these roaches now burrowing in order to regenerate those hit points, And now there is some long distance mining over here. Army gonna go ahead and regroup. Silver unable to really mine, just trying to long distance mine out of this location. Still one infestor sitting off over here. If it gets enough energy, we'll be able to cast 2 fungal growth and perhaps delay the economy of silver even further. 45 harvesters versus 28, as this hatchery has been taken down by that army earlier. Army-wise, 5625 versus 4100. There are a decent amount of hydralisks, and we are also getting corruptors. Those corruptors, however, do not have any upgrades. They do have 2 armor, so they take a little bit of reduced damage from those Vikings, as those Vikings have a double attack, so they're going to be taking 4 damage less, down 26 damage per attack. Now broodlings simply making their way towards that planetary fortress. Planetary fortress has 3 armor, so these broodlings will have a fairly difficult time trying to get enough kills to take this down, but the initial damage from those broodlings, 20 per attack. Back over here, infested Terran quickly being spawned, and down they go. Another siege tank here. This infestor perhaps should burrow and try to hide itself, as more and more broodlings are being tossed out by these broodlords. So the broodlords and broodlings just simply swarming over the map. A group of hydralisks and roaches underneath it to try to protect it from roaches and Vikings. Vikings now trying to do that shoot and scoot ability, having a very, very long range of attack. And now one broodlord quickly shot down out of the sky. Those broodlords now overexposing themselves once again. Hydralisk trying to get within range of those Vikings, but that Viking with that range of 9 able to snipe down one of those broodlords very, very easily. Corruptors now going to go ahead and join in on that fight. Corruptors, however, attack a little bit faster, but do not deal extra damage towards Vikings. They are not massive. So one of the I believe Corruptors do have a little bit more hit points. However, Marines and Marauders trying to take down this hatchery over here. We do see a Queen Transfusion, and the drones able to finish off that attack. Army-wise, 5625 for Slush, 4600 for Silver, and now Spine Crawlers being morphed into play. And as these Spine Crawlers are going to be completed, it will be very difficult for Silver. Silver is down to 1 base off of blue minerals. Meanwhile, we have 1 gold set of minerals over here by Slush, and some long distance mining taking place, as Slush also going to be able to start mining out of this location at the center 5 o'clock location. Broodlords, Vikings, and Corruptors now going to go ahead and engage. Vikings going to be able to get off 1 round of attack. Hydralisk trying to get underneath, trying to protect it, as those Broodlords now starting to fire at that orbital command. Vikings now getting in position. We do have a couple Corruptors, but those Corruptors should probably trying to use their corruption ability to deal damage and make those Vikings take more and more hits. 6,000 mineral army for Slush, 4,900. We do have 1 Viking continuing to just cause a lot of harassment for these overlords all across the map. Slush does have more than enough overlords at this time, sitting at 200 food count maximum, and even after losing 1 overlord, able to continue to do that. Broodlords now making their way over, moving very slowly, 1.41, as there are Marines and Marauders trying to drop over here. Roaches now unable to attack that air unit, but the Corruptor will be able to get that final attack. 1 Roach, or 1 Marauder upgraded at 3-2, now trying to make its way out, will run into a group of roaches as well, and down goes that last Marauder once again. Back over here, this fleet of Vikings trying to do their job, trying to find these broodlords. Stay tuned for part 3 of this replay between Silver and Slush here in the Xel'Naga Caverns.